Lesson 1. Believe it or not, we start all over. Lesson 1 is about basically the procedure of RU. You notice in my shirt it says talk, talk, talk. That's what RU is all about. Talk, talk, talk. Now, you get a little bit of a glimpse, a little taste of RU here on Tuesday mornings. Friday nights is our main RU. And that's basically what that lesson on page 5 is about. The first talk, the second talk, and the third talk. Here we have just 2 talks basically. I teach a lesson and then I'm done and then you get to talk. So you get like 2 talks here. You don't get the full spectrum of RU. Like I said, it's just a little taste. But we're going to be on page 2 today. And we're talking about talking. This is kind of like listening. And the lesson is, do not listen to your addiction. Do not listen to your addiction. Just in case I don't get far enough, I do want to look at the bottom of page 3. Your addiction is a liar. And listening to a liar is never healthy. And we all know that. It's never healthy to listen to a liar. The Bible states that the devil is a liar. That's John 8:44.
Page 3?
Yes, the bottom. Reread the list above and replace addiction or with the devil or sin. And you'll realize who's actually whispering in your ear. And so, when we talk about do not listen to your addiction, remember your addiction is a liar. The devil is a liar. And so, in reality, who is whispering in your ear is the devil. All right? The devil would love nothing more to keep you defeated, crushed, weak. He'd love that nothing more. If you're a Christian, if you're a Christian, he's already lost your soul. He can never get that back. The Bible says your soul is in the Father's hands, and no one can pluck that soul out of his hands. And so, it would be great if he saw, well, I lost that soul, I'll go on. No, he's not like that. I lost his soul, so now I want his life, or I want her life. And so the struggle of the Christian is no longer whether they're going to heaven or hell, and where their soul's going to be. The struggle of the Christian is what kind of life am I going to have now? And the devil wants you defeated, crushed, depressed, weak, and he's a liar. Your addiction is a liar. And so do not listen to liars. It's not healthy. So we'll see how far we can get into this list. Number 1, your addiction will tell you that you're not an addict. That's the number 1 thing I hear. I'm not an addict. Other people are addicts, not me. Your addiction will mislead you into some level of denial that you're not an addict. You just used to party or cope or take the edge off. By the way, that's an addict, okay? Your addiction will tell you, compared to others, you're not like those that are addicted to drugs or alcohol. But you are. One of the most difficult things is the functioning addict. Now, you can function in your addiction for a while, but you're still an addict. And just because you can go out and get high and get drunk and still make it up and get up and go to work and function during the day, that don't mean you're not an addict. Eventually, that lie will come true. Everything around you will crumble. You'll lose that job. You'll lose that family. All addiction does is take and take. So don't believe the lie that you're not an addict. You are. And the sooner you realize it, the sooner you get to that truth, the sooner we can help you. And the sooner you can find help. All right? Number 2, your addiction will tell you that having just one is okay. It's all right for me to have just one. You know, you go on a business trip or something and you've been clean and sober for 6 months. Nobody's around. Nobody's going to know. I'll just have one. That's all your addiction needs is just one. That's what it'll tell you, just one. Your addiction tries to convince you that you can get away with just one. And that no one will ever know. My wife's not around. My friends are not around. RU's not around. I'm over here or I'm over there. Nobody will know. Here's the problem with that. You'll know. You'll know. I had the one. And it'll play on your mind and your brain the rest of the night and the rest of the week. Maybe just another half hour. But it'll play on you because you know you had that one. This sets off a switch in your brain, and within a few weeks, you are doomed to be back to your old level of consumption again. Matter of fact, what I have actually found is, if you go back to it after you've gone away for a while, you go back to it deeper, worse than when you left.
7 more demons.
7 more demons. That's exactly the verse that I use. Once you clean it all up, and then you go back to it, it's worse, 7 times worse. Your addiction will tell you just one is okay. It's a lie. Don't listen to a lie. Number 3, your addiction will tell you that it was not really that bad. You know, when I was an addict, when I was using, when I was getting drunk, when I was partying, it wasn't really that bad. I had fun. Don't listen to that lie. There's a reason why you needed to change. Don't forget that. We call it glorifying the past. And we find that every once in a while in RU. People start glorifying the past. All you're doing is setting off triggers. All you're doing is setting yourself up to fall back because you forget how bad it really was. You tend to forget how bad things were. Your addiction wants you to remember how good or fun things were. There's an actual country song. I don't know if anybody, I hate country, but there's a country song that said, "You were more fun when you were drinking." That's what you tell yourself. You know, I was more fun when I was drinking. I had more fun when we were out partying. I was more fun when I was getting high. Really? You woke up, didn't know where you were, who you were with, how you got there. You wake up in jail. You wake up sick. You wake up, your wife's got your bags packed, sitting outside. That was more fun?
Kids are scared of you.
Kids scared of you? Yeah. So eventually, you'll have subtle thoughts that say your addiction was really not that bad. But of course, it was that bad, which is why you continually look for help to get out of your bad times. Remember, you were continually looking for help to get out of this. And then you got out and you say, you know, it wasn't so bad. I had more friends. I had more money. I had more fun. Don't glorify your past. Don't believe that lie. There's a reason why you had to get out. Number 4, your addiction will tell you that there is nothing here for you to learn. RU, I hear that all the time. People come to RU, they say, hey, that's a nice program. It's a good program. It's not for me. There's nothing here for me. I mean, you only come 2 weeks. How do you know there's nothing here for you? Your addiction will lie to you and say, you know, those are good people. Those are nice people. I've had people tell me, Mike, you're a good guy, but there's just nothing here for me. Be careful of that. That's a lie. Your addiction will tell you that no one here knows you or about your problems. As if addicts don't already know about you and your problems. Nobody here knows me. The people here have nothing here for you. Here again, this is a nice place, but it's just not for me. Your addiction does not want you to grow or evolve and learn new things. It doesn't want, as long as you don't grow and evolve and learn, it can keep you in submission. In fact, it wants you to stagnate in your growth, that you will revert back to what you know best, self-medicating with drugs and alcohol. Your addiction knows that you will relapse if you're not pushing yourself to grow as a person. If you do not grow as a person, if you do not learn how to handle stress, if you do not learn how to communicate with others, if you don't learn how to function in a job or society, if you don't grow and push yourself and stretch yourself that way, your addiction loves that because it knows it can grow you right back to what you know the best, your addiction, your drugs and your alcohol. Again, replace all these words with sin and devil, and you know who's really talking to you. You really know who's whispering in your ear. It's the devil. See, there's nothing there for you. Come on, man. They don't know you. That white guy, he don't know what we go through on the streets. We've heard that here too. That's the devil whispering. He doesn't want you to grow as a person. Number 5, your addiction will tell you to isolate yourself. The most dangerous thing in mankind is to be isolated. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 18:1 not to isolate ourselves, because when we do, all we have is ourselves to draw knowledge off of. Now, all kinds of weird things happen in our minds when we have all by ourselves. I can convince myself that nobody here loves me. I can convince myself nobody cares. I can convince myself the best thing for me to do is go get high or go get drunk or beat up somebody or shoot somebody. I can convince myself of that if I'm isolated. The most dangerous thing in the world is for a person to be isolated or to feel isolated. Don't do that. That's why it's great to come out and go to church. That's why it's great to come out and volunteer and help others. It's why it's great to come out to RU, so you're not dwelling on your own knowledge. Your addiction knows that if it can get you alone for long enough, there's a good chance you will relapse. It knows that. If I can get you alone long enough, you're going to relapse. Because you become vulnerable when you're left to your own thinking. If you do not interact with others on a regular basis, you'll forget the damage you can do to yourself. You'll forget it. Isolation can be devastating to your recovery. The subtle thoughts of using will build up over time, and the only way to get the relief is to interact with others who are recovering. And that's why it's important to go to church. That's why it's important to get out there and socialize and talk to people, especially people you trust, good Christians. And you tell them, I'm thinking about doing this. And they say, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I like people who are honest with me. I've had people tell me, that's stupid. Well, thank you. I don't want to be stupid. All right? Number 6, your addiction will tell you to resent others. Your addiction loves anger. Everybody get that? Addiction loves anger. It causes all kinds of turmoil and stress that you need relief from. And guess what? Your addiction is going to give you that relief. It loves turmoil. It loves drama. One of the things I learned very quickly when working with addicts is how much drama they create on their own. I think they create it so they got an excuse to use. Make mountains out of molehills, out of nothing. Because your addiction loves anger. It loves hate. By the way, if you replace that word addiction with devil, the devil loves anger. Wherever you see anger, wherever you see hate, you will see the devil. Wherever you see love and compassion, you will see God. Even if it's the simplest kind of love, that's where God is. Always remember that. God is not in the middle of anger and hate. So if you're all full of hate and you feel like you're doing God's work, no, you're not. You're not. And if you let your resentment run wild completely unchecked, They will eventually get the better of you and drive you back to using drugs and alcohol. Your anger will eventually override rational thought if you let it get control of you. The problem is not everyone else. The problem is you. Always remember that. Well, they said this or they did that. The problem is you. How am I going to react on this? Okay? Somebody brings you a problem or they bring something on you. Your reaction is the problem. If you act right, there is no problem. If you act wrong, you got problems. Don't blame everybody. Quit blaming people for where you are and what's going on. You have free will, free choice. You can choose to be angry, you can choose to be hateful, or you can choose to be loving and compassionate and kind. So far as to even love, the Bible says, your enemies. Those who mean to hurt you, those who curse you. Now, just in case you think that's not possible, is that not what Jesus did here on the earth? Beat him, spit on him, called him names, killed him. Killed him. And the whole time, everything was still love, goodness, kindness. We overcome evil with good. Don't be the problem. Even on the cross, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. What would be my response? God, bring lightning and kill these people. Look what they're doing to me. All of a sudden, now I'm the problem. See what I'm saying? Don't be the problem. Number 7, your addiction will tell you to feel sorry for yourself. They're so full of self-pity. Your addiction is, in reality, self. The number one addiction in America. I've asked people this question before, and they'll say cocaine, or they'll say heroin, or they'll say marijuana. And the answer is wrong. It's self. You're addicted to you. You're addicted to you. So self-pity is a favorite emotion of addicts because it's entirely self-centered and allows you to be lazy. What happens is that you start playing the victim role, feeling sorry for yourself. And this justifies the idea that you do not have to take any action or be a man and face it, or be a grown-up and face it. Instead, I'll just medicate myself out of this. You exempt yourselves from doing something about the problem because look what everybody's doing to me. I mean, all I did was miss work a week or two, and now they fired me. Can you believe that? Now I ain't got no job. I can't pay my rent. My landlord's going to kick me out because I don't have money for the... Look what everybody's doing to me. We love that. Your addiction loves that. It feeds into that. Selfishness, self-centered. That's your actual addiction. You see, I've said before, drugs and alcohol and whatever other addiction you have, that's the symptom. We have to get to the problem. And most people, it's selfishness. Self-centered. You use because of you. You love you. You want to take care of you. You want to get yourself through this. And this is how I get through. Number 8, your addiction will tell you are bored. You're bored. And that's why I got to use them. I'm sitting here. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't got nothing to do. Might as well drink. Let's sit here on the front porch, open a 6-pack, and I'll drink all of that while I'm here on a Sunday afternoon and got nothing else to do. After an addict has been clean for a while and conquered early recovery, your addiction will tell you that you were more fun when you were drinking or drugging. If you forget the lessons you've learned and stop growing or stop learning in recovery, this is what will happen eventually.